Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. Now, on Patreon, Simon has posted a couple of days ago a video called Our Longest Solve Ever. And there's no question mark. There's no question about it. It is our longest solve ever of a Sudoku anyway. 3.5 hours or something it takes him to solve Emre Kalotoglu's. It's a sort of mixture of region sums, skyscrapers and numbered rooms. It's an extraordinary puzzle, and it is frankly an extraordinary solve. If you haven't seen it already or aren't aware of it, it's my job to make you aware of that. Also on Patreon, of course, Evening Attractions, our March monthly reward, 7 puzzles themed on negative constraints, and loads of responses. We're over 200 correct answers in already. Very well done to those of you who've worked your way through it. Jolly good effort. Now, actually, I will also mention our merchandise and Sven SUDOKU PAD and all of our apps, which are available on links under the video. So they ought to be very interesting to you if you like your variant Sudoku. Someone who does is Armin Karlek, who we featured for his debut a few weeks ago with, I think it was exponentially bound thermos. Now, Armin obviously is a mathematician by trade. No, trade might be going too far. I don't know. He might be. He's at least a mathematician by inclination. And this one is about factors in a way that I've never seen before, and introduces a new type of cell that I've never had referred to before. So let's go through the rules of Factor Me in the corner and see what Armin has produced for us today. So normal Sudoku rules apply. So 1 to 9 will go in every row, column and 3 by 3 box. I'm quite intrigued by the 2 4s already in the corner of this. In cages, digits cannot repeat, and their sum must equal the product of corner cell digits of that cage. Now, what is a corner cell? A corner cage cell borders a horizontal and vertical dotted line. So this cell has both a horizontal and vertical dotted line in it and is therefore a corner. This one doesn't, it's only got horizontals. This one has horizontal and vertical dotted lines. So that is fascinating, an intriguing idea. And specifically, the cage total is the product. It's not just a multiple of each of the corner cell digits, it's the product. So we have to multiply that and that to get the cage total for this cage. What an intriguing idea. We have very few candidates for 3 in the corner this time, despite it being called Factor Me in the corner. And looking forward to giving it a go. You do try it on the first link under the video. Sorry about my waffling yesterday to people who don't listen to the rules section, encouraging them to listen to the rules section. I probably shouldn't have put that in the rules section. And I'm going to have a go at Armin's puzzle now. So let's get cracking. How on earth do we begin this? So if we had a 9-cell cage, we would know its product. Sorry, we would know its total, its sum. But instead we have 2 8-cell cages, which have a sum of somewhere between 36 and 44, which I know, because there is a secret about the sum of the digits 1 to 9, they always add up to the same total, 45, and that is therefore the total of a row of Sudoku, a column, a 3 by 3 box, or indeed a 9-cell cage. Now an 8-cell cage is missing one of those digits, so an 8-cell cage adds up to somewhere between 36 and 44. Now there are some of those numbers that are impossible, and I would include the primes amongst them. Let's just aid memoir all the totals. I have no idea if this is the right way to go about solving the puzzle. It's the way I'm doing it. Oh, I've missed one. I haven't given myself enough room. I'll put, oh, there's a 3 in the corner. That's not genuine. That won't be a 3 in the corner. Now, 36 to 44. Which of these products are impossible in this puzzle for these 2 8-cell cages? And I'll start straight away. 44 is impossible because one of its factors is 11. So we can't get to a product of 44 from those 3 cells, for instance. Third, the primes, I can whip them out, 37, 41 and 43. 39 is impossible as well because one of its factors is 13 and that's not going to happen in a corner. 38, one of its factors is 19. So we're left with 36, 40 and 42. Now 40, 40 is really interesting. 40 is not possible either in one of these because the digit missing from 40 in an 8-cell cage is the digit 5. 40 plus 5 equaling 45, as they do. And yet 5 is one of the factors you would need to be sitting in a corner. So we can get rid of 40 and we're left with 36 and 42 as the possible. It's a pity there isn't a rule that all the cages have a different sum, which would establish that one of these was 36 and one was 42. Now, in the 42 one, the factors would be, they'd either be 7, 6 and 1 or 7, 3 and 2. Yeah. Does that mean, no, this one has got 4 corner cells. What I was thinking of doing a moment ago, and I should have done it, is to mark the corner cells that are going to multiply. So for each cage, let's put in where the corner cells are. Because I've only really been thinking about this L-shaped cage having 3 factors multiplying together to give its corner total. So let's stick in those, and this cage, this purple cage, is going to be the product. Its sum is going to be the product of those 3 digits. Now I was about to say that the yellow cage can't be a 42 cage because 732 and 761 aren't 4 digits, but it could of course be 7321. Oh no, it can't. The missing digit is a 3. So this cannot be a 42 cage. This one can only be a 42 cage if it is 761. It can't use a 3. So 167 is possible there. It's not possible here. This must be a 36 cage, which is missing a 9, which does limit the factors a bit. The factors to make up 36 now. Actually, without the 9, how are we even going to get there? It's going to have to be 6 times 3 times 2 times 1. They've all got to be different. Yeah, this is a 1, 2, 3, 6 set. And this doesn't have to be 167, because this could be a 36 cage as well. In which case, what did I say it was? It doesn't have the 3. No, that was if it was a 42 cage. If it's a 36 cage, there's lots of ways of getting to the total. That's annoying. Because you could have 941. Actually, you could... No, you couldn't have 922. Sorry, I don't know why I'm suddenly thinking you could have repeat digits. Well, there are others. 632. Oh, maybe there aren't as many as I think. Okay, in 3 digits to get to 36. No, we can't have 941 because 9's the missing digit. Oh, okay. It's harder. You have to have the 6. It has to be 623. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm chasing my own tail here. This is either a 236 cage, missing a 9 again, just like this one would be, or it's a 42 cage, missing a 3, and therefore 176. And I don't know how to decide between those. What am I meant to be able to do here? If this was a 36 cage without a 9 in, I know where the 9 in this box would go. It would have to go outside both cages. Now, I suppose this is a set of 4, 5, 7, 8 in the rest of this cage. I don't really know what's going on. Now, this cage, I want to say it's not missing a 4. It's certainly not a 41 cage. So it does have a 4 in it, and we've got that given 4 that says 4 must be in one of those cells. So that's not a 4. 4 is in this cage. I don't think that's interesting. Not for our solving of the puzzle. So this is either 7, 6, 1 and it's missing a 3, or it's 6, 2, 3 missing a 9. I don't know how we use that to resolve the puzzle. Okay, maybe I'm going to have to consider these little Christmas cracker cages, or this 2x3 cage, which has got 4 factors. Oh, that's quite interesting. What is the absolute minimum then? Total. 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 is 24. That would work. That's annoying, because it suggests there are lots of other possibilities. 1 times 2 times 3 times 5. Okay, no, the first thing to do is to consider what is the maximum total for this cage. It could be missing 3, 2, 1, and the maximum total then is 39. So it's somewhere between a total of 24 and 39. Am I going to be boring enough to think about all of those possibilities? I think I am. I'm going to aid memoir that down here. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. I'm even going to put 30 in. 31. We're going all the way up to 39, aren't we? So there's a lot of possibilities here. 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39. Because quite a lot of them are going to be ruled out. So we can rule out primes, because they're... we can rule out primes of this height. So 29 is gone, 31 is gone, 37 is gone. We can rule out numbers with big factors. 39 has a 13 factor. 33 has an 11 factor, 34 has a 17 factor, 26 has a 13 factor, 25 would need 2 5s, and we're not allowed repeats within a cage. There's quite a lot of possibilities left, but 38 needs a 19 factor. So these remaining possibilities, I'm wondering if we can rule out cages which couldn't have those 4 factors in. So 28 would have to have, you see, you can't do that in 4 factors. 7, 4, 2, and 1 are the only possibilities. But you'd have to remove one of them or repeat one of them. That won't work. 35 must be the same, 7, 5, and 1. So we are down to some fairly interesting composite numbers. I suspect that 27 won't work, 3, 9, and 1. Okay, so we're coming down to, let me just move these, 24 and 36 are very composite numbers, so I can imagine they're easily done. 30 could be 1, 2, 3, 5. How much does that add up to? 11. You can't get to the total, because you'd need 19 in the other 2 cells. So 30's off the table. 5. Well, hang on. Have I missed a possibility? I said it had to be 5621. No, 5321 didn't work. Yes, if you used 6, you'd need to repeat a digit. That's okay. So we're down to 24, 32, or 36. Now, 32 could use 1, 2, 4, and 8. They're the only factors, but they multiply up to 64. You'd have to repeat 1. That's not possible. So this cage does either add up to 24 or 36. If it was 24, that was the one I worked on at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4 are the blue cells, the corner cells. And these two add up to 14. That seems quite likely now. But 36, which would be missing 9 in terms of 3 digits not in it. And how would you make up 36? Using 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, or 9. You can't use 9 because then you won't get 3 other different factors. So you're going to have to use 6. It's going to have to be 1, 2, 3, 6, which adds up to 12, and you're never going to get the total to 36. Okay, this I did not realise, but I've now discovered this cage has a total of 24, has 1, 2, 3, 4 in those cells, and these two add up to 14. Wow, that really was available. That's, for me, that's quite hard maths. I know you're laughing at me for that, but it's taken a bit of effort and aide-memoirs, and I don't feel very guilty about that. If 4 was there, we'd have a 1, 2, 3, 6 quad here. And that would be quite interesting. What would be happening here? That cannot happen. If 4 was there, this would be a 1, 2, 3, 6 quad, and these would be selected from 5, 7, 8, 9. The minimum product is 5 times 7, 35. That's far too big for a 3-cell cage. So that is not a 4. We've got a digit in the puzzle. After 14 minutes, I'm whacking a 4 in. Now, that does mean that the remaining low digit has to be one of these two greens. And it's not as high as 5. And it's also not as high as 4. Because even if, well, I mean, we've had a 4 in the silly box, so it's not 4. 3 is not, yeah, one of these digits is 3, 2, or 1. Actually, this is a generic truth about these Christmas cracker cages, is that they've got to have quite a low digit in them. Otherwise, if you were multiplying, I think 3 times 5 might be the most you could do there with a 7 in the middle to make the total 15. 3 times 6, no, I'm wrong. 396 would work. But if you ignored 3 and you had 4 times 5, which you could have there, 20, you'd need an 11 in the middle. So you've got to have a 1, 2, or a 3 in them. So the 5th digit from 1, 2, 3, 6 is in one of those greens and forms a virtual quintuple in the column. So these other digits are 5, 7, 8, or 9. Now that is limiting what this can actually consist of. So I'm allowed to use one digit from 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. No, one digit from 1, 2, 3 in these greens, and the other one is from 5, 7, 8, 9. Now, I don't think you can ever use 1 in one of the greens because that would imply that the cage total was the same as the other digit, the other corner cell digit, and that's impossible. So we've either got a 2 or a 3, and then 5, 7, 8, or 9. Now 2 and 5 would be a total of 10 and would need a 3 in the middle. 2, 7 would be 14 and would need a 5 in the middle. That's plausible. 2, 8 would be 16 and would need a 6 in the middle. That doesn't work. 2, 9 would be 18 and would need a 7. So 2, 7 and 2, 9 are possible. 3, 5 would be 15 and would need a 7. That is annoyingly also possible. 3, 7 is too big. So this is either 2 times 7, 2 times 9, or 3 times 7. And this middle digit, what were the possibilities there? There certainly aren't 4 of them. 2 times 7 would need a 5, 2 times 9 would need a 7, and 3 times 5 would also need a 7. That's 5 or 7. Does 7 have to be used here? I think it does, because even 2, 9, 18, yeah, that used a 7. So there's no 7 in those cells. Sorry, I'm foofing around. I don't quite know. I really don't know if this is the way to go about it. There must now be a 4 in one of those cells. That's not very interesting. Well, it does mean there's not a 4 in one of those. It's a very minimal adjustment to my candidates. So each of these crackers needs a 2 or a 3 in. It's difficult. I don't know quite. That could be the 2 and 3 for this orange and blue cracker. So these don't need to have even 1. Right, this is using a 2 or a 3. Yeah, I'm thinking now very hard about 2s and 3s, because we've got to have 2 in those cells, 2 in the yellow cells, 1 in the green cells, and at least 1 each in orange and blue. So amongst these cells I've got highlighted, we've got at least 7 2s and 3s. And obviously in column 2 we could have 2. The trouble is each of the columns I've got highlighted has 2 cells in it, so that hasn't quite taught me anything. It nearly did. And this may be the way to look at the puzzle, is how many 2s and 3s can you fit in. But that seemed the most promising area. What was this purple? It was either 7, 6, 1 or 7, 2, 3. Was it? No, it wasn't 7, 2, 3. Sorry, it was 7, 6, 1 or 6, 3, 2. That's another. 6, 3, 2 would use another pair of 2s and 3s. I don't know. I'm getting myself in a bit of confusion now about how many 2s and 3s I can use. I've got to use. Let's look at these rows then. Right, amongst those cells I've highlighted, I've got to use 2 and 3 in red, light blue and dark blue on the right. That's 3 of them. 2 in the dark blue on the left. That's 5. And at least 1 in yellow. That's 6 lots of 2 and 3. And that's going to use up all the 2s and 3s for those rows. So 2 and 3 have to be used in those rows within these highlighted cells. And also, therefore, I need another 2 and 3 in yellow, which is going to have to be here. And that can't be a 2 or a 3 up at the top of this one. Now that's almost ruled out 632 as the purple factors, but not quite. That was really interesting, actually. So in this column, that's one of the 2s and 3s, and the other one is green. So these aren't 2 and 3. And now that's a 1-4 pair. This is definitely a 2-3 pair. This is not a 2 or a 3. That's the 1-6 pair in yellow. This is the 2-3 pair in the other cells. Now, one of these shades of blue can be a 2 or a 3, and one of these, so that's definitely happening. One of these reds is going to be a 2 or a 3 as well. This is intriguing. That can't be 2 or 3 anymore. And now this cannot be a 632 purple cage making 36. It has to be the 761 cage making 42. And it's missing a 3 from it entirely. 167, so these are from 2589. Ah, do excuse me. And that was a delivery to the wrong door, which, if you know me, is the sort of delivery that infuriates me the most. Anyway, where did we get to? 2s and 3s, especially. Right, we also need 2s and 3s in these that I haven't really thought about yet. We can have a maximum 1 in this box and a maximum 1 in this column. So again, they're going to be disposed in some sort of X-wing, just as they probably are here. Although that's not so important up there, actually, because the columns aren't as restricted. Oh, there's a 1 in one of those cells, as well as my corner marked 4. So that becomes a 6, and that becomes a 1 in its box. And we're getting more digits. It took us 13 minutes to get our first digit, another 11 minutes, including a minute of interruption, to get the second. And we get a few more as a result. Hurrah! There's a 1 in one of these cells. That's not a 1. So one of these purples is a 1. Oh, those have to add up to 18. No, 14. They can't add up to 18. So if that was a 5-9 pair, that's 8 and that's 2. Is this any more restricted? I don't think it is. I think probably all 3 possibilities are still there. These don't... Oh, that can't be 6 quite clearly now. That's not really fixing the... Oh, it's all very close to coming up with the amount of resolution we need. But I'm worried that I'm going to have to... Oh, maybe this is the one to think about, because I've got actual digits in the same row as this cracker. So there is going to be a 2 or a 3 in it. I haven't really thought about the minimum. In theory, you could have a 2 and 3 in one of these with a 1 in the middle, but that's not going to happen here. You can't have a 4 in this box. So 2, 5 with a 3 in the middle, that's not allowed to happen here. 2, 6 with a 4 in the middle can't happen here. 2, 7 with a 5 in the middle can. 2, 8 with a 6 in the middle could. I mean, there seem to be an array of possibilities. 2, 9 with a 7 in the middle. 3, 5 with a 7 in the middle. Even 3, 6 with a 9 in the middle. Yeah, no, there's an array of possibilities in these crackers that are going to drive me crackers, clearly. Oh, goodness. I'm going to have to keep thinking about 2s and 3s. Maybe I'm going to have to mark them. Like, colour them against each other somehow. I don't know. That's going to be tricky because there isn't that much interplay between the 2s and 3s. am I meant to be able to do anything with the 4s because they're marked? Maybe 4 can never be the middle digit, but it can in a 246 cracker. How am I meant to get going again now? Maybe I did need to think about this more. 5-9 made that an 8 and that a 2. And that was possible. 6-8 makes that a 7. I'm missing something. I was going to say a 1-7 a pair in those cells. I don't think they are because that could be 7. 1s, 4s. There's a 4 in one of those 2 cells. If either of those was 4, that would be a 4, therefore. Okay, let's think again about that being 5-9, which puts 8 there. I don't know. Oh, there is some interplay between these 2s and 3s. So whatever one goes in this, whether this is 2 or 3 going in this green cracker, that's the other colour of 2 or 3. Okay, I understand the corner cells, so I'm going to colour the cracker in the middle now. And let's get rid of all of those colours. I'm changing my colour scheme, guys. I do apologise. I might leave purple behind because that's not containing any 2s or 3s. Okay, I'm literally changing horses completely here. And you may think I've gone mad. That's fair enough. I probably have. Let's get rid of that and go there. And now, what colours am I going to use for 2s and 3s? So, let's say that the yellow version of 2 or 3 is in one of those 2. That then is the opposite, which is... Let's make that red, dark green. So, yellow is opposite red in 2s and 3s. That's in the cage with that, which is yellow. So, one of these is a red 2 or 3. And I'm thinking that the other one up here has to be yellow, but that might not be right. No, that isn't necessarily right. I'm on the wrong track. Bother. One of those has to be a 2 or a 3, though. One of those has to be a 2 or a 3, but it could be the same colour as these. One of these has to be a 2 or a 3 and will be the opposite colour to that, the same colour as that, and the opposite colour to the one here. They don't relate to each other. So that is not buttering my parsnips today. Goodness, sorry, this is hard. One of these 2 digits is an 8 for sure. In column 2. Now, if that was an 8, this is a 5-9 pair, and that's a 2. Oh, this can't be a 2, can it? In this row, we're going to need a 2 or a 3 in one of those cells. Yes, that cannot be a 2. And now, we've got a 5, 6, 8, 9 quad, which puts a 6 in one of those cells and makes them a 6-8 pair. Oh, so poor at seeing that. Now the only place for 8 in this column seems to be here because of the candidates I marked out down here. Interesting. Now, one of these is a 2, and that, red, has become a 3. And therefore this pair down here is either 2-7 with a 5 in the middle or 2-9 with a 7 in the middle. Okay. Doesn't change anything I've got. I've got a 6-8 pair that makes this purple a 7. That fixes 1 and 6 in the purple cage. And I can get rid of that purple colouring it's finished with. Now that's probably going to be doing some stuff. We've got a 2-3 pair to go in up here, but there's a 2 in one of those cells, so we do get a 3 in the corner in this puzzle. Excellent. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spot. Light. Now, this has become a 2 in its cage. It doesn't need a colour. Yes, it does. That is the yellow 2. So one of these is a 3. But we can't relate these colours to these digits or the ones. There are a 2 and a 3 in these cells. Okay, let's look along this row. So, the normal possibilities are 2, 5 with a 3 in the middle. That's not possible. 2, 6 with a 4 in the middle. That's not possible. 2, 7 with a 5 in the middle. That's not possible. 2, 8 with a 6 in the middle. That's not possible because of that. 2, 9 with a 7 in the middle. That's not possible. So the low digit here is a 3, and that is going to fix 2 and 3 up here. I may as well colour them. Let's try and get yellows and reds. Ooh, my mouse has lost control. Yellows and reds out of 2s and 3s. So one of those is red. And one of these must be yellow now because we've got an X-wing of red, which is going to put a red in one of those cells. But therefore this is 3 times something. Now, it can almost only be 3 times 5. No, it was 3 times 5 or 3 times 6. In fact, 3 times 5 needs a 7 in the middle. That's not possible. So this is 3 times 6 with a 9 in the middle. Lovely. This puzzle is lovely. And I have not been brilliant at it, but I'm quite pleased to be still making progress at all. Now, one of these is a 2 in this row. 3, 9, 6, 4, 2, 1. This is 5, 7, or 8. 2, 1, 5, 3. We know one of those is 4. Oh, down here, that's a 6, 8 pair. 1, 4. This is 5, 7, or 9. Oh, we're going to need... Ooh, we're going to need low digits in these. 2s or 3s. I mean, that conclusion was right. And in fact, none of those can be 2s in their columns. So that is another X-wing of 3s. And these are now ruled out from being 3 at all. And this must be a 3, which is a very weirdly placed hidden single. From 2 X-wings formed by Christmas cracker corner cell cages. Anyway, all of these 3s... Now, we have to go backwards. We can't have a 3-2 cage because we don't have the 2s to spare for these crackers. So, we could have a 3-4 cage somewhere, which would have a 5 in the middle. We could have a 3-5 cage with a 7 or a 3-6 cage with a 9. The central digit is always odd in the 3 cages, and it's always 5, 7, or 9, which is an interesting finding. In the 2 cages, I think actually the central digit is always even. No, it's always the same parity as the opposite digit. That's a different finding entirely. Now, neither of these can be 1s, so the 1 in this column is placed. That's probably not going to help us. But neither of these can be 1s, so we get a 1 in one of these cells, and that makes this a 1. There is some very weird logic. Neither of these can be a 1, so that's a 1. That gives us 1 in box 3. And then we're left with an X-wing of 1s. 2 is definitely in one of the... 2 is not there. It's here. That's been available for a long, long time. I've only just seen it, obviously. Otherwise, I would have done it earlier. Can't be looking at everything all the time, you know. Now, Haven't thought much about that 4, 5, 7, 8 set for a while. I just don't think it's giving me anything, to be honest. 1, 2, 6. It might be about the fact that these have to be different. These also. Okay, where's 4 in this box? Not in any of those cells by Sudoku. Now, I don't think 4 can be here because it would be opposite a 2 and would need another 2. So it's definitely in one of those 2 cells. Can this be a 4? If this was the 3 cracker, it would need an odd digit in the middle. If it's the 4 cracker, sorry, if it's the 2 cracker, it could go, you could only have a 4 there if it went 2, 4, 6. And that is not possible because of that 6. So that's not 4, this is a 4. Then there's a 4 in one of those 2. Now, maybe we can even get prescriptive about 4s. Not really there. Oh, but that's become not a 4. The 4 in the big cage is now in one of those 2 cells, which rules out 4 from here. That's not interesting. There is a 3 in one of those 2 cells. In fact, it must be there because we've got a 3 X-wing sort of thing. 1, 2, 3, 6. So 4 is in one of these 2 in the row. That might be interesting for these, although I don't think it actually is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 rules. So the cell opposite the 2, the corner opposite the 2 is 5, 7, 8 or 9. That is not a useful group of cells or digit possibilities. I can't use it. 2, 8, 6, 4. These are from 3, 5, 7 or 9. Now they can't have a 7 because there is a 7 in one of those cells. So they are 3, 5 or 9. The one that is opposite a 3, one of them is a 3, obviously. The one that's opposite a 3 is either 5 or 9. But it can't be 5. Yes, it could. It would have a 7 in the middle. 3 opposite 9. I've got my maths wrong on that. 3 can't go opposite 9. Yeah, it's way too big. So that must be a 3-5 pair. Oh, I don't know what I've just done there. This must be a 3-5 pair. So that's now a 7. Sitting in a 2-9. Yeah, sitting in a 2-9 box. This becomes a 5 up here. That's a 9, that's a 5. We finish off boxes 1 and 4. Assuming I've done this right. The only place for 5 in this cage now is here. One of these is going to be a 5. One of these, not certain, is going to be a 5. Likely, but not certain. Now, one of these is a 3-5 cage, whichever one has a 5 in the middle, and that is going to need a 7 in the middle. So one of these is definitely a 7. 9 and 6 are in those cells. This is 7 or 8 by Sudoku. This is such a weird puzzle, by the way. It's not working. It's not at all what I was expecting when we began. That is 7 or 8, similarly. That's 7 or 9. This is just Sudoku. I think there's still quite a lot of work to do, actually, in this. I really do. I don't think I'm very close to a finish at all. That's a 4-8 pair. I can't use that for anything, no. 2, 3, 1, 6, 7. That is 8 or 9, just by Sudoku again, given that 7 is definitely down here. I'm going to have to think about the other end. So the other end, one of these is a 5 on the left, but wow, what is up with the mouse today? It's almost like it's virally affected. One of these, it is just pausing all the time. So one of these on the left is a 5, and one of them is a 3. The 3 is opposite, not a 5. The 3 is opposite, and it's going to have a 5 or a 9 in the middle. So I must know what the 3 is opposite. I just need to do the bloomin' maths. It's either opposite a 4 with a 5 in the middle, which would have to be here, or it's opposite with a 9 in the middle, it would be opposite a 6. So these cells are from 3, 4, and 6 only. I'm sorry it keeps taking me so long to work out the same sums again and again, but that's just where I'm at the moment. I think I have a very unhelpful loose mouse connection. I don't know what's going on with that. I hope it lasts till the end of the puzzle. Now maybe it's the combination over here of either, if that is a 3-4 pair, then this is a 7-5 pair. That would be 4, this would be 8 or 9. But if that's a 3-6, there's always a 9. That's interesting. Wow, what is wrong with my mouse? I'm really sorry. There were shenanigans going on. There we go. Let's see if that's improved anything. There is always a 9 in one of these 3 cells, because there's either a 9 in one of these, or this, because one of these is a 6, or this is a 3-4 pair, which makes that 8 and makes that 4. If this is a 3-4 pair, now I could be wrong about that last conclusion. If this is a 3-4 pair, what's happening here? We've got a 5 and a 9 then. No, we haven't. We've got a 5 and a 7. Why did I think that was going to stick a 9 here? I thought there was a reason. I don't think there was. If that's a 3-6 pair, this is 7-9. 8-4. Then this would be a 5. But if this is a 3-6 pair, this is 7. That's what I was looking at. If that's a 3-6 pair, that's 7-9. The rest of the column makes this a 5. If that's a 3-4 pair, that's a 3-4 pair. We've got 8, 9, 4 here. Well, we need 8 into the column. That's going to be here, if that's a 3-4 pair. So this ends up being 5 or 8. Oh, which is a weird combination of circumstances, but doesn't actually advance my solve at all. Wow, I'm really missing the point here. I'm going to have to think about these crackers much harder, which is not somewhere I was hoping to have to come from. Right, these digits in box 6, they see 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 4. They are from 3, 8, and 9. So the digit opposite the 2 is 8 or 9, which is going to need either a 6 or a 7 in one of those cells. Ah, we can't have a 9 in one of these, because that would have a 7 above it to make the 2 cage good. And if you have 9 and 7 there, you can't fit 9 and 7 into row 6 at all, because there's only one cell available. So this is now a 3-8 pair. There we go. That's taken a long time. Sorry if that was very clear to you. It really wasn't to me. We get a 9 there. This is a 5-7 pair. That makes this a 4-3 pair. We know the order. And my wonderings about how the order is going to be resolved have actually all been resolved now. Okay, so let's uncolour those cells. Fully red, those ones. Okay, so this has become an 8. That sorts out 6 and 8 on the left. Hopefully, Sudoku does a lot of the rest of the puzzle for me, because I'm basically not managing to do it for myself with the maths. 8 there, that's not an 8. We've got digits from 2, 5, 7 up here. So the 3 is going to be opposite 5 or 7, but it's not going to be opposite 7, because the total is too big. So the 3 is going to be opposite 5, with a 7 in one of these cells. The 2 is going to be opposite 8 with a 6 in one of those cells. This becomes an 8. Then we finish off the box. Then we finish off box 2. Now, that becomes a naked 2. I've got a 1-6 pair to resolve there. This is a 9 to finish the column. 4 and 5 here by Sudoku, thanks to the given digit that I haven't used for a long time. That 5 is finally going to sort out these 2 crackers. Now, we can get rid of the colours there, and we can go full colour in those. This one is the 3. That's a 7, 15, yes. That's 6 and 8, and that's all worked. This is a 7 by Sudoku. The 6 sorts out 6 and 3 up there. And all the 3s are done. I imagine all the 2, no, all the 2s are not done. But this is a naked 9. I can just finish the column by writing it in. That's always a relief when we get to that stage. Same with column 7, 2, 9, 8. That 9 is going to sort out this 9, 2 pair. Let's finish off the colours. I think those are going to be the last yellows. We'll just get rid of the other colours that I was using earlier. Just leave red and yellow coloured in the puzzle generally. That looks about right. And now we're just doing the last few numbers. 5. I can do 1 and 6 here. Then I need a 6 and a 2 in yellow. And that is a very clever puzzle by Armin Kalek. And I think I must have found the linear way through that. But gradually, piece by piece by piece, about 45 minutes in the end. Wow. Very interesting solution, very interesting puzzle. Delighted to have been able to bring that to you today, and hope to see you for more Variant Sudoku tomorrow. Thanks to Armin, and bye for now.